Mysterious ball of light or will o' the wisp. One day I was home in my kitchen, standing at the sink washing dishes. My husband Chuck was at work, and my 4-year-old daughter Kim was in her room playing. The kitchen sink had a window behind it, and I was casually glancing out the window and thinking about the upcoming activities I had planned for the day. Nothing special, really. I could see the road and a couple of houses on our side of the street from the window. The sun was shining on the bushes and trees in my view. It was an ordinary summer day. Suddenly I noticed something very odd and peculiar. It was so strange and unnatural that I was sort of frozen in time, staring at it. It seemed to be a glowing ball of light floating up our side of the street, straight toward our house. It was a few feet up in the air, and it was about the size of a small beach ball. I watched out the window in complete amazement as it floated toward our house. Then suddenly, on reaching the level of a large azalea bush in our front yard, it seemed to just dip down behind it and disappeared. I quickly ran to the front door and outside to investigate. I ran to the bush near the road and looked behind it and underneath it. There was nothing there, no sign of it at all. I noticed no one else in the neighborhood had come out to investigate, so I figured no one else had seen it. Most everyone on our street worked during the day anyway. Well, I really had no idea what to make of it. I later told my husband about it when he came home from work, but he didn't have any answers either. I was really puzzled as to what it had been, where it had come from, where it went. I just was didn't know. But then I remembered a story my mother had told us kids when we were growing up. She said that one time when she was a girl, her family had a milk cow named Bessie that they had let graze during the day in the fields and woods on their farm. Bessie wore a bell around her neck, and she would always make her way back home in the evening by milking time. If she was late, they could always find her by the tinkling sound of her bell. One day, though, she didn't come home. Mama said everyone spent part of that evening and all of the next day, too, looking for her, with no luck. No sign of her, and no tinkling sound of her little cowbell. She said they were upset. They loved old Bessie, and they were worried about her, but there really was nothing else they could do. Then, at just about dark, while they were sitting on the porch, they saw in the distance a glowing ball of light in the sky. Mama said they watched in amazement as it floated in the sky a little ways. Then it just dropped down and disappeared in the woods. The next morning, her daddy and her brothers went to look for Bessie again and decided to go in the direction that they had seen the ball of light disappear. They found her dead underneath the tree. Poor Bessie. Now I started to worry. Did that mean something or someone was going to die? We didn't have any animals at that time, so you can imagine what I was thinking, especially since my husband had just recently started working as a police officer. A couple of days went by and nothing happened. I was starting to laugh at my fears and think maybe it was just some sort of fluke, like maybe a ball of lightning bugs or something like that, which was kind of hard to convince myself of since I had seen this in broad daylight. Still, I started to relax. Then, on the third day, it happened. One of the elder spinster ladies that lived in the house right next door to us passed away during the night. In fact, she and her elderly sister that lived with her actually owned the house that we were currently living in. They had grown up in it. But now today, I still don't know what to think about this. After doing some research, I learned that in the early history of Wales, to see a floating ball of light meant a prediction of an upcoming funeral in the locality. All I can say for certain is that the facts as I've related them to you here are all true. And I don't know if it's has any bearing on it or not, but I do have ancestors that immigrated to America from Wales. Hope you enjoyed the story.